So I never had a plan to become a woman director. I've been an artist my whole life, and I've been in animation since before college. And did I say that? I've been a woman my whole life, so I really have no other thing to compare to. But how I became a director was just becoming very interested in every aspect of animation. I started with background painting, and I worked my way up, and somehow over the years I found myself fascinated with directing, and then I just pursued this path. I really didn't encounter male obstruction. I realized that the industry was mostly male, and I took it for granted. I think all of us did. The theory we all had was, well, boys read comic books, and animation comes out of comic books. So it seemed that not many girls were interested in it. But that wasn't the case. That wasn't true. It's just they didn't see other women doing it. Now, when I work at a studio, most of the positions of production and managers, they're women. There are a lot of women in every department, more women animating now than ever before. And still there are very few directors, but I think that will change when more of the story artists that are women step up and are given the chance. But it's a slow process, but it is getting a little better. Yes, I think that my ideas about love and my ideas about friendship, what I think is funny is definitely in the movies that I make. It's very hard to try to think about an audience and what they might like. This makes it more complicated to make decisions. It's better to go by your own taste, your own gut. So when some artists present to me an idea for a scene and it's very funny and I laugh and I love it, then I trust that others will also love it as well. So we may put that in the movie, and then even though I see it many, many times over the years when we're making the movie, I try to remember that first day and know that it's funny and leave it alone and not try to change it too much. So yes, I think that the things that I like, the things that I think are definitely in the movies I make. Well, I think the difference between Western animation or American animation and the work of Ghibli Studios, I think you can feel it right away in the type of stories and in the type of animation. The easiest to see is the animation. So in the West, we love very good acting, very strong acting. It's almost all about the acting. The animation is drawn, as we say, on ones. So you have 24 frames per second, so there are 24 drawings for 1 second. And we love very expressive animation. So it's all about the character animation in the look. And in Ghibli is a little more limited, so the strength is in the composition. The animation is not so strong. It's shot on twos or threes. So you have 3 frames for 1 drawing. So it takes a little less money, and it's a little less smooth, but the compositions are beautiful, are very, very careful and beautiful and very evocative. Okay, so that's the style that they're different. Story-wise, I think that the Ghibli movies are very personal and often very magical. Not so traditional story of a hero goes to save their world. Okay, it's more a personal story of a girl discovering who she is, or becoming comfortable with the idea that her mother is sick. I think of Totoro and this magical journey, you know. So more and more, I think Western movies may be becoming more personal, like Brave is a personal story, but it's still a grand fairy tale. It still has that feeling of a grand fairy tale. But I think it's also, for the writer, it was a very, very personal story about her and her daughter. No, I think that America has led the way. I don't think that they have had weak heroines. I think they've had strong female characters. I think that Disney has a long history of female characters. Back with Beauty and the Beast, she was strong in a different way. Okay, so she was strong with wanting to read and not just marry the young man in the village. But it was still a little old-fashioned, just like Little Mermaid. It was a little bit old-fashioned. She still wants to marry a prince, okay? So we're beginning to move away from that. Disney did Mulan. And the love story is very minor, which was a big deal for Disney. That was a big change for Disney, to not have a princess who marries at the end of the movie. So she was a strong warrior who takes the place of her father and saves the day, like a boy would, okay? So I think this tradition of evolving female characters that can go on the same journeys that the boys go on, that don't have to end in a wedding, is not just a Japanese thing and not just an American thing. I think it's a world change as people start to see that the heroine has a personal journey that isn't just about love. For me, it's always been very interesting to learn the next thing and find the next challenge. So it didn't matter if I was working on a silly TV show like He-Man, which was to sell toys. I knew it was to sell toys, but I enjoyed the job because I was learning something very important and something I'd never done before. So I was learning to read a script and come up with the ideas visually about how to tell the story. And this taught me a lot. This was like film school. So it didn't matter that it was He-Man. It was, for me, film school. And I take that same attitude no matter where I am, whether it's a commercial or a movie. Am I learning something that I can benefit from, will help me with my learning? Because we never stop learning. I think that this is the most important thing, that we never stop learning. But now I can make other choices. I don't take a job just because it will pay me. You know, I haven't been working for 2 years because I don't want to work on a movie about carrots and potatoes. I want to do something more meaningful, with the rest of my life. So I'm very careful of the projects that I look for, that they have something to say to people, they have some meaning. And I think now that's what's most important, is that I continue to develop my ability, my artistic technique, my ability to tell a story, and that the story is worth all the time that it takes to make a movie. Hola, me llamo VickyJenson. I'm the director of Shrek, well, one of the directors. I want to say hi to Radio Demente.